welcome to leave comments and I will get to them in due time. I am down in Vero Beach, Florida, so we're recording this ahead of time just so we have these because we know our audience. Our audience. We have an audience that depends on us and we depend on. So it's great to be able to share these with you, even if it's not completely live. So today we're looking at this beautiful part, sort of part two of what we looked at yesterday. This part of Noah and the Ark, where the story where he actually releases everything. We're actually like lets it go. And it talks about these animals and the aliveness and all those beautiful things. And boy, it's such a powerful image, right? Just the power of aliveness and the unleashing of that out there into the world. And it's an aliveness that's a gift. It's not a thing. It's not an activity. It's not a loot, and it's not anything but an energy that we release out there into the world. This deep sense of aliveness, which is incredibly powerful and incredibly beautiful to think about. And it goes on to say in this biblical passage, says, let these things multiply and that let them swarm. That's the biblical translation we've been looking at. I love that idea of let these things swarm. And how do we allow good stuff to really, really swarm in our lives? And the part I want to talk to you about today with that swarming mentality is we think it's all about leadership all the time. Like we got to be good leaders and, lots of leadership things, leadership this, leadership that. But what's interesting, and maybe it's the key to the idea of a swarm around something good, is the idea of being the first follower. A very famous TED Talk. You can Google it. It takes all 3 minutes to watch. The idea of a first follower, right? Because leadership, in a sense, it's important and it really matters. I know the older I get, the more I realize how critical it is. But leadership is not the be all and end all. Sometimes the most significant thing we can do in terms of spirituality, in terms of bringing the good things to life, is to really learn how to be a really good first follower. So what does a first follower mean? Well, on the TED Talk, it shows a famous little experiment where some guy goes out there, he starts dancing at a concert, but it's just him, a single nut job out there dancing. And what the author put out there was that what really mattered was the first follower. So you have this person who goes out there, they do their thing. And it's really that first follower, though, that first person who gets up and starts to dance with them. That's what starts to change the culture. Not the leader who's out there sort of, in the guy even says solitary nut job, but that first follower who looks at it and goes like, I want to join up with that. Let me do that. Let me dance with that person. There's great spiritual wisdom in that, folks. Like it's just interesting about the need for community in spiritual life. Even Jesus, like interesting, right? Jesus didn't need 12 disciples. I mean, Jesus was God incarnate. Like he could have pulled that stuff all off by himself, but that would not have been within the order of creation. And the order of creation is always that it takes more. It takes an us. It doesn't take an I, it takes an us. And it takes a community and it takes a communal approach. And then we can watch how those swarms happen and how those swarms get energy and how those swarms start to swarm around good stuff and start to make a huge difference out there into the world. If you want a particular example of that, of how a swarm can work, that's unleashed, just sometimes, go on YouTube and Google 9/11 boat lift with Tom Hanks. And it talks about the beautiful boat lift that pulled all those people off of Manhattan Island on 9/11. A larger evacuation than Dunkirk, which I didn't know until watching that video. But that's the example. And folks, what it takes sometimes in your life and my life is for us to be disciplined enough and humble enough and to have the sight, to have enough sight to see the people who are doing those things in the world that we really feel make a difference. And once you see those people, can you be the first follower? Can you come on up beside them? Can you go, I'm in? How can I support you with this? Similar to the question we had yesterday, where we're really starting to create that community that can make a huge difference out there into the world. So that's the thought, folks, for today is like, think about being a first follower, because that's what will create this swarm, quote unquote. That's what will create a community of people who do really start to make a difference out there in the world. And it doesn't mean leadership's not important, but it means maybe the most significant person in many, many endeavors is not the leader per se, but the first follower that they can attract. So something to think about in the day ahead. I hope that makes great sense. And what we're going to do now, is we always do at New Church Live, we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, and a little blessing. And then I will sign off, and you're more than welcome to leave your comments on Facebook. And I will be taking a look at those when I'm down in Florida, responding at other times during the day. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath to start out with. And let's listen to the bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, wishing you all the very best. And again, for any of you who may be in the Florida area, you are welcome to join us Sunday at 11 a.m. in Vero Beach for a special New Church Live church service there, as well as we will continue on, as we always do, with our live service here out of Bernathen, Pennsylvania. That'll be at 10:30 a.m. And this week, we are so lucky to have Curtis Childs joining us for that part of the message. So wishing you all the very best, friends. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.